For most young couples, the birth of a child is a wondrous experience, filled with joyful expectation. For John and Mary Sanders, the news that Mary was expecting was cause for more than the usual excitement. Due to complications after the birth of her daughter Anne, Mary was informed that having more children would be very risky. The young couple was considering adoption when they learned that Mary was expecting. In spite of the risks, however, Mary was determined to see it through. For her, there was no alternative but to give her child every chance for life.
See your sister here.
Hi, honey.
There's your new sister.
Against all odds, John and Mary were blessed with a beautiful, healthy baby girl.
I'll give you a present.
Isn't that sweet?
And from the very first day, Anne and her little sister were as close as two sisters could be. As they grew, Mary had her hands full, keeping up with two very active, normal children. John and Mary loved their daughters both, of course, but always in the back of their minds, they felt there was something rather special about their youngest. Given the circumstances of Lorraine's arrival in the world, it seemed almost certain to them that Lorraine had a special destiny to fulfill. And the girls never doubted for an instant how much their parents loved them. And no one doubted for an instant how much the two girls loved each other. As the years passed, the girls grew and changed as all little girls do, but their devotion to each other only grew stronger. One night, Lorraine sensed that something was troubling her big sister.
Me and Tina came to see if you were all right.
I can't get Mom a present for Mother's Day because I lost all my money.
Well, I got some money. I'll give it to you.
Really? What will I ever do without you?
You'll never have to be without me.
So, we can split the money. How much do you think's in here?
Probably about $15 or $16.
We can definitely get her some flowers and a box of chocolates.
Some months later, Lorraine developed mysterious symptoms, the signs of an illness none of the Sanders family had ever encountered
How's she doing?
before.
Not good. Her temp is still really high. We better call the doctor.
Like most kids, Lorraine had had her share of bouts with colds and the flu. But after 2 days of fever, Mary suspected that this was not a routine illness. A preliminary exam at the doctor's office was followed up by extensive testing at the hospital. After several days, Lorraine growing weaker by the day, the doctor finally had a diagnosis. Lorraine was suffering from a rare and usually incurable form of cancer. The family barely had time to recover from the initial shock before the doctor started Lorraine's difficult treatment. He explained that it would be several weeks before they would start to see any results. Though everyone understood that Lorraine's chances were slim, all were hopeful she could beat the odds one more time. After nearly 2 months, there were few signs of any improvement. The most hopeful sign was that Lorraine's spirit was still strong.
Yes.
Tina's tired of hospital food. Keep her for me till I come home.
Just as long as you promise me that you're coming home.
You'll never be without me.
Poor kid, she's got to get some rest.
So do we. Come on. Hello. Speaking.
William Wordsworth wrote, "A simple child, dear brother Jim, that lightly draws its breath and feels its life in every limb. What should it know of death?" In the blink of an eye, hope had turned to crushing despair. Now began the long, hard process of trying to make sense of the death of one so young. Anne was inconsolable. It was as if her own spirit had left with Lorraine's passing away.
Honey, we'll be leaving soon. You can bring Tina if you want.
We commend the soul of this precious child unto thee, O Lord. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Anne was still in such a deep
Amen.
state of shock, she barely heard a word of the minister's eulogy. Deep inside, she wanted to cry out, but she was still paralyzed by how unreal it all seemed. She was desperate for some sign that this was all just a bad dream, that she would soon awake to the sweet sound of her little sister's laughter. At first, Anne thought the appearance of the kitten was a cruel trick her mind was playing on her.
Tina's tired of hospital food. Keep her for me till I come home.
Just as long as you promise me that you're coming home.
You'll never be without me. You'll never be without me.
Over the next several weeks, Anne withdrew ever deeper into her own private world. Her only companion was the kitten she had found at the cemetery. In the depths of her grief, the kitten seemed to her to be the embodiment of her little sister's love and devotion.
Honey, how do you think Lorraine would feel if she knew that when she died, you stopped living too?
Mary encouraged Anne to try to return to some semblance of her normal life, to try to enjoy life as much as she could, even without Lorraine.
So are you ready to choose your free gift?
Okay, what are my choices?
Well, I got your favorite.
Only
here,
a few
and,
days later, the perfect opportunity arose for Anne to make some new friends. A local youth group invited Anne to join them for a softball game, followed by a pizza dinner.
You got your ID? Money?
Yep.
Where?
Right. Yep.
That's it.
Bye.
Be careful.
Let me just...
We'll take good care of her while you're gone.
Okay.
Okay.
Happy that their daughter seemed ready to make new friends,
Hey, don't be late.
John and Mary watched her go off on her way. Before very long, Anne would begin to feel liked and accepted by her new friends. But first, she would have to survive a disaster from which only a miracle could save her.
Hello?
Mr. Sanders?
We found your daughter's ID at the scene of an automobile accident.
Where? We'll be right there. We've got to go to the hospital.
To the hospital?
Anne!
What?
You're okay.
Yes, of course I'm all right.
But we got this call that there'd been an accident.
An accident?
So you're all right? And you're not hurt?
No, we weren't even in the car.
Apparently someone's been hurt. Let's go to the hospital and find out what's going on. All right, Mr. Freeman?
Okay.
And after the game, when we were going to the van, one of the kids showed me the cutest little kitten. It's so cute. It was just a little kitten.
Anne's attention was suddenly drawn to a stray cat.
Look, it's my kitten.
The cat's sudden appearance reminded her of the kitten that had appeared at her sister's funeral, the kitten that had since become her constant companion. Anne felt a sudden impulse, far beyond that of her usual fondness for animals, an impulse to stay close to this cat. So when the cat suddenly broke away from her, she was torn between staying with the group and following the cat.
Stay with her and catch up with us at the restaurant.
Yeah, okay.
But honey, it couldn't have been your kitten. She was in the house all the time. Mr. Harding.
Hi.
You okay?
Okay, we just got banged up a bit. Someone ran a red light and plowed right into us.
When we found your ID among the wreckage, we thought for sure you'd been one of the injured, especially when we found out where you'd been seated.
The police officer told Anne that the seat where she had been sitting was the collision's point of impact. Anyone sitting in that seat would surely have been killed. Only her insistence on following the little stray cat had come between her and a painful death. Anne was confident that in some way her little sister had once again shown that she was keeping her promise to never leave Anne's side, no matter what. Young Anne Sanders knew that her sister had once again extended her love and devotion, even from beyond the grave, and that once again, that love had made itself known through a seemingly unlikely vessel.
Tina's tired of hospital.
On the journey through her grief and sorrow, Anne Sanders understood that she had passed through the land of miracles and other wonders.
You'll never be without me.